Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. And of course, it is time for the midweek fix. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be back with the fellas, with the lads. I haven't seen them for a bit. Lewis, you were late 'cause you're having a roast dinner on a Wednesday. I don't know what all that's about, mate. That's
neither do I, but there we go.
Weird thing.
I know. Domino's have been on the phone. What's going on? Losing so much business here.
been putting on the pounds, JT. So can't be doing it. And now I'm joking. But I just roasting. I don't know. It makes no sense to me either. But I'm good, Joe. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Yeah, I am. I'm all right, mate. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. I'm tense.
Content.
Yeah, that's a good word, mate.
Yeah. Tense. We're fluid here. We're all here having a good time. All right, long time, too long. Like I said, we were all ready for last week, and Joe pulled the plug on us. He said, "No, I'm sorry, mate. I had enough of this Lewis geezer," and that was it.
I nearly got kicked off. Or nearly went on cash sheet. Never replaced. After that old debacle. Is that the right word? I don't actually
debacle.
Debacle.
It was good, man. It was good.
Debacle.
The comments were good.
They were. Oh, yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were good for you.
Actually had a little
they were good for you, fella. Yeah. All right for some.
It was good, yeah. And I've got a feeling tonight might go the same way as well, which is good.
Yeah,
which is good. JT, how are you doing? You all right?
I am fantastic. Yeah, absolutely ecstatic. Like I said, happy to be here. Can't even speak. I'm so excited. Happy to be here. It's a good day. It's a new day. And like I said, it's a sunny day again. And we've got the boys here. We've got the legends rolling in through the chat. We've got two legends on the screen here.
I'm glad it's sunny where you are.
Man. Yeah, what can I say? Manchester, nice, beautiful place. Really? You're not that far away.
No, just across the Pennines. Just across the Pennines. Do you know what I mean? In lovely Leeds. I'm all the way up in the northeast. I'm all the way up in the northeast. Sunny Sunderland.
Yeah, but you've got a beach.
What?
Have you got a beach?
You've got a beach.
Oh, you lucky son of a glitch.
I call it a beach.
Well, yeah, no, Seaham was nice. Sunderland, not so much.
Nah.
Yeah, Sunderland, not so much, mate. Is what it is. Times are hard. So
Sunderland until I die, though, at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Right. Where are we starting? Should we talk about Crystal Palace and what was an absolutely shocking game to watch?
Yeah.
Wow, it's shocking.
Come on,
it was a nerve-wracking game.
You enjoyed it. I had a feeling.
Enjoyed it. I lost about 5 stone that game. So much more stuff was coming out of my arse than my mouth, which is surprising, but it was. And I mean, I guess I probably didn't realize how dull to an extent the game was just because I was so nervous.
I'm gonna say
so much riding on it.
I swear if you were going to sit there then and go, it was end to end and all this, like the commentary annoyed me so much.
Yeah.
Like they were there trying to make out like it was this edgy, entertaining, like.
It was though. It was to a way. It was. There were certain patches where it kind of was. And like I said, when the emotion overrules you,
tell me when it excited you.
Yeah. Okay, when it excited, I tell you, like I said, we had a good 10-minute spell.
10 minutes.
Maybe a little bit less. There was one decent. What I will say, we were getting dominated possession, but whenever we did spring on the counter-attack, it was energetic. It was very, very quick. We were going for the jugular straight away. And that 10-minute spell, like I said, we were winning the ball back quickly. It was like the 50th to 60th minute. Every time they came forward, we got many shirts back, like 7-8, swarmed them around. Phillips in that spell was winning the ball back, springing on the counter-attack very, very quickly. But then we would get near the edge of the area and just mess up the pass. But aside from that, like 10 to 15, no, 15 is probably too long, 5 to 10 minute spell,
How about this then? How about this? Charlie says, JT, in response to you, it was only entertaining because our tactics are now boot it forward and hope for the best. And good friend in the channel, Harmony, says, we had 2 shots all game, 10 touches in the Palace box, and we spent 80, I did not know this, but we spent 87 seconds in the opposition box. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel, was I watching the same game as Lewis and John?
It makes me feel like it makes me feel like it's a solid point, is what makes me feel like.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But this whole picture they were trying to paint of it being this entertaining, edgy, end-to-end game, and there was so much quality, and it was flowing and all.
Oh no! There was no
trying
quality.
To make out like it was that. All it was Palace not being able to string 2 passes together and losing the ball. Us not being able to string 2 passes together and losing the ball, and it constantly keeps crossing the halfway line. And that's all it was. They had the better chances. If anyone were going to win, it were probably them. So I don't really get why people were disappointed with the result. I think we were actually, I don't want to use the word lucky, but fortunate to get a point maybe, because it could have gone a completely different way.
Yeah.
We were solid defensively, and Melia kept us in it a couple times. Good double save against Zaha. So
man of the match? Question mark.
Melia, yeah.
I get it, Coops, but you know,
Coops?
I dick ride Coops like there's no tomorrow, so it's all good.
I gotta say, Ayling. I gotta give it to my boy Luke. I know, like I said, there was a couple of times
I couldn't tell if he had a good game or a bad game because
there was so many. He made so many like
had a better game than Dallas
challenges.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh my god, that first 10-15 minutes, they were just pinging that chip through balls.
And here's something as well. If Elise is fit and starts that game, we lose because he actually capitalized.
Oh, when he come on,
on the chances that he got in that first half.
Oh mate, instantly like whipped it into like back post. Can't remember who there.
Yeah,
maybe, but
yeah, it was like a looping cross went past everyone. Zaha picks it up.
Brilliant.
But that's what I don't get. How every long ball, Zaha was just chilling in so much space, picking up the ball every time.
But this is the thing. This is the thing with Jesse Marsch's system, and we're going to speak about it. Yeah, but like he's on record as saying, if we're all over at one side of pitch, we're not bothered about the other side, and that's why the switch is always on.
Yeah,
the switch is always on. Do you know what I mean? And that's why
wasting energy. I know.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got decent runners, you're going to cause us problems. Do you know what I mean? And that proved to be the case against Crystal Palace. But I do agree with you, Lewis, in that those that were complaining it's not we needed to win and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I understand that in the context of where we are.
Yeah,
but
it's two ways, isn't it? Like before the game, we needed to win.
Arsenal got beat 3-0.
3-0, yeah. So in the context, a point there, whether it had been 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, whatever, very good point. And given, like I say, in my opinion, obviously everyone's opinions are different, but I think if anyone was going to win that, it was them. And I think I just to bring up another topic, do you think they should have had a penalty?
No. But that was so close. I'm telling you,
Lorente
man.
One.
Yeah, his arse. His arse saved him, man. He fouled him, but he's so lucky that half a second after the ball smacked his arse and went off. I've never seen anything like it.
If I'm a Leeds fan in this call with a Palace fan, right, and it's us who have got the penalty appeal, and you've just sat there and said he fouled him, I'd cut you off there. It don't matter if his arse has touched the ball or whatever. The challenge is bad. The contact is made. Gallagher looked for it. Don't get me wrong. Of course he looked for it. He was looking for it all game. He dived about 4 times. But that, the challenge is bad. It makes the contact. Gallagher goes down. It's a penalty. Now, whether it's Stonewall, whether it's soft or whatever.
It's a 50-50. It's a flip of the coin.
I don't understand how they went to VAR and it lasted about 4 seconds, did that check. And I'm like, if that's us, I'm fuming.
Yeah, but then you can flip it. There's many other games like the Gelhard one a couple of weeks ago.
No, of course, but it's one of those where you go, well, you can't say this isn't because of that game and that game and that game. It's a penalty. And the fact it hasn't been given, if I'm a Palace fan, I'm fuming, elated as a Leeds fan. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got a point, but I even watched it back because I thought maybe just as I saw it at the time, but no. And I've seen people saying, "Oh, his arse touches the ball. It's his arse that saves him all this." But absolutely no need for the challenge, and it's like it's such a poor timed challenge. Contact is made. Gallagher goes down. VAR check.
Thank the Lord he's been doing those squats. Because if he had a flat arse, that would have been a big problem.
I think we got away with one there.
Yeah. Okay, but an interesting point, though, and I saw Calvin Phillips raise it, and I was kind of talking about it with some people before. 16-day gap before the game. How much did that actually impact our performance negatively?
Right, so let me just throw something in on this then, just while you bring that up, right? So to Sherner 85 member, big shout out to you, says on Monday, I think ring rust was quite a big factor. And what I will say to you, JT, right, and what your thoughts, sort of like a counter question. Why did Jesse Marsch let them go on holiday for half of that time? why didn't he use that time to get them players in and get them used to his system? I was listening to Allstats and we earlier, and they were saying, like, even in terms of the counter press, it looked off. It doesn't really look as though we've really got to grips with his system yet. Rafinha's still trying to play out wide, and Jesse's asking him to play centrally, and it's like, well, for me, 16 days was a perfect opportunity to get them. Instead, what he's done is sent them on holiday, and arguably the most important time of the season. So.
But that's
there is a bit of ring rust. Why should we have ring rust?
Okay,
yeah, potentially. That's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you, there's a big difference between training and match experience. We could have trained our asses off 5 murderable sessions a week. Completely different. Furthermore, we don't have time to get. I know we'll get into more his system after. We don't have time to teach them the Jesse Marsh philosophy. 16 days in the midst of a relegation battle where every point is necessary. We don't have time to teach them a completely new philosophy of playing. All that matters is we can give them a few little changes, a few little tweaks to the system we already have, and then try and just soldier out wins. Trying to get them to learn something new in 16 days could have been very much more detrimental than that. So that's why I said it's probably better to think about the mental side of the game and give them a bit of a holiday.
So essentially, all Marsh has done, and he actually said this himself in his post-match as well, is come in and kind of do what Bielsa was too stubborn to do, in a sense that he's just tweaked the system that was already in place. We haven't actually seen the Marsh system in full flow yet because he hasn't had the time to implement it. He even said it's post-match, look, the majority of players are struggling to adapt to the non-man marking system, and I think I don't know whether that's a worry. I don't know whether that's just because it's
so why haven't you spent that time though, Lou? Why are you sending them on holiday, bro?
That's a fair point. It is a fair point. And it's a completely fair point, and I honestly couldn't answer. I think
I'll tell you,
or is it excuses from him?
No, because you can't adapt in a game situation. You can teach someone something, and it may work in training a little bit. But when the pressure's on and when you're in the midst of an intense game like that, something you've learned for 1 or 2 weeks isn't going to work. It's like if you have a boxer and you try and teach them a new routine to counteract what the other guy's going to do, and you can teach them it in a couple of months. Second, they get punched in the face, they're going to revert to what they do.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to wait until you have more time before you bring
what
something
we were saying
in.
when Bielsa got sacked. We've played that way for 4 years. It was never going to happen overnight. It may not even happen halfway through next season.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. And even though people coming out and saying, it's not too dissimilar from Bielsa's system, it is, because a massive factor.
Well, we could pass the ball under Bielsa. That's it.
Well,
man.
And look, before people, start saying,
it was horrible, Luke.
I know there's going to be people in the comments. I'm going to stick up to you here because I know there's going to be people in the comments who are going to be like, nitpicking at you again for going against Marsh. Even I'm going to say now, it was the same against Watford.
Yeah.
It's been the same against Palace. Our ball retention, it's but
non-existent, isn't it?
It's like I said last week. Like, it's two separate arguments. You were arguing that Bielsa's best thing is sliced bread in terms of entertainment and watching it, and I agree with that, and I'll stand by that. I'm never going to argue with that because Marsh, for me, from what I've seen, and just because of how biased Bielsa I am in terms of the football, I don't think it's ever going to top that. I don't think anything ever will in my lifetime. Maybe that's naive. But the results are coming under Marsh as of now. So I ain't gonna, as much as I can sit here and go, it's boring to watch, or we can't keep the ball, or blah, 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 blah. We are grinding the results out. We're getting the points that we need. And obviously this run we've got coming up, we'll talk about it. Yeah, exactly.
Is this you agree with Steve? Yeah? You agree with Steve? Right,
pretty much. It's the quality of football ain't great, but we are getting the results we need, the points we need, and like I say, this run coming up's a bit of a death run, and we can talk about that. But since he's come in, 11 is it 11 or 12 points? 11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So good going.
But as there's an old quote, and Bielsa and Guardiola were very, very heavy on this. They don't care about results. He doesn't care about results. Like when he first came into Man City and they finished like 4th, was it? And they weren't playing good football. And he was saying, you know what? I don't really care about the results. The way you perform is all I care about, is the performances. And yes, we've been getting the results, but the performances haven't quite been there. So is it only papering over the cracks, getting these couple of clean sheets? Because let's be real, if it wasn't for some people missing some big chances in both the Watford and the Palace game, wouldn't have kept those clean sheets. Yeah. Is it papering over the cracks?
Do you know what, right? And this is, I want to. It's all good and well, right? Look, he's come in and he's settled the ship, and we've started getting points, and we're 5 games unbeaten, buzzing, right? We're in a relegation fight. I'm with you, Lewis, in terms of when people are getting annoyed at results, and it's like, well, we haven't lost a game in 5. Why are you annoyed? You know I love Bielsa, right? And I am not enjoying watching what's being put on.
Do you really? You haven't really said anything.
The point I'm making is, though, right? I'm not enjoying what I'm watching at the minute. And when you get a last-minute goal against Wolves and you get at Norwich, that papers over the cracks. That papers over the cracks because the actual,
I agree with that.
It's turgid. But what I will say, right, like, and I think it's worth pointing about. So D Turley, big shout. He's going to put it in as I want us to discuss this point, right? So 2 of our worst 3 passing percentages in Premier League in 71 games since promotion have been in the last 2 games. If you actually compare Marsh's 7 games with the reverse games this season under Bielsa, because people want to tell us we lose that game under Bielsa, Bielsa actually has more points return. He would have 12 points. Yeah. He conceded 1 less goal. He had a better XG for and against, and the possession was all better under Bielsa against these same teams. And, James says here right at the top of the show, I don't care about the style, which I get. Okay, I couldn't. And he says it's clearly working better than the football at the end of the Bielsa. We'll never know, right? We'll never know.
No.
But I still think Bielsa gets points return that's similar to what Marsh has got in these last games. That's just my opinion. I'm going to say that, but we'll never, ever know. But all I'm saying is, like, I get we need to stay up, but there's a little part of me thinks this is what we're going to be, like, served up next season as well. And I'm not on board with it.
Right, you never know. Like you said, it is the unknown. We don't know how Bielsa would have done now. We don't know how Marsh is going to do with more time. And that's the scary part, is leaping into the unknown. All that matters, like he says, though, great names think alike, great minds think alike. I don't really care if we absolutely shithouse it, have 2% possession, big fat Sam punt it up the other end, bounces off someone's arse, goes in, gets a couple of 1-0s, and we stay up. I'll judge him next season. Right now, performances, you know what? Yes, we do have to take into account that the performances are poor. That is some of the worst football I've seen since Heckingbottom. Yeah, it's getting bad. But just all we got to do is stay up.
I wouldn't even say that.
And then we've got to bring some of his own players in.
Whether that were a joke or not, I want to say that's an exaggeration.
No, it's not a joke. It's genuinely not a joke.
It was really bad. It really was.
Oh, it was
we said
terrible.
The same against Watford. The game in general, not just us, even Palace was shite in terms of ball retention and
that's a great point by Harmony as well, because a lot of these have come away, some of these performances and stuff. Do you know what I mean? In the last 5. Does that make sense? So the reverse fixtures would have actually been tougher in effect. Sort of.
Kind of.
I
don't know.
Palace,
I don't know if that.
I'd argue like Palace away is a harder fixture than Palace at home.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And we
I'm just clinging on. I'm clinging on to anything to
also only beat Palace last minute.
Support my Bielsa narrative, aren't I?
Yeah, but then technically Watford away is harder than Watford at home. So
yes, and it was
I mean, easier than Watford at home, rather, not harder.
We beat Watford 3-0 and beat Watford 1-0. This is what I mean. It's
I know, but I mean, as in if you compare their home form to their away form.
Oh yeah. But
so
I think.
Do you know what I feel as well? Like, I feel like I want to discuss this because obviously there's been a lot of misinformation, I think, in terms of people saying, well, Bielsa loses that, etc. I don't believe it to be true, right? I don't. And that's why I wanted to discuss it. But Moon just makes a point here and he says, look, who are we going to blame when we get relegated? I want to jump on the right bandwagon. And obviously he's having a laugh and it's all tongue in cheek.
Tyler Roberts.
No, the one thing that does worry me, because I was listening to, you can tell that I listen to a lot of Leeds United content creators, but I was listening to Leeds that earlier. and they were saying, imagine we went down on goal difference, because then everyone would blame Bielsa. And I sort of like sat in this and went away in my head to think, oh no, if we went down on goal difference, my king would get hammered, and I'd be like, no. Do you know what I mean?
He thought, I ain't got an argument for that.
Yeah, exactly. That was it.
It's been shotting down all day. It's like, well, I could say that, and I could say that. And actually, I could say, if we'd have signed so-and-so, we actually wouldn't have conceded as many, so they didn't give the king what he wanted, and blah, 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 blah. Nah, it would solely be that system's fault. And look, I think people are... It's actually a good lead-on, actually, because I think people turned a blind eye to results under Bielsa because of performances. Yes. In the same way, I think people are now turning a blind eye to performances because of results, because we are so desperate for the points. So you can play absolutely gash against Palace and absolutely gash against Watford, but as long as you've got those, you know, 1 point, 3 points, whatever, people aren't asked at the moment. But I think...
But that's like my earlier point. What's more important, performances or results?
No, I get that. So we still, right, from next season onwards, I think it is going to become a thing where people are just like, do you know what I mean?
Lewis, ask yourself the question, right? Ask yourself the question. Next season, right, you Elland Road, week in, week out, few away games, right? And your threat to what we've seen for the, let's say, you're comfortable mid-table, right? Comfortable mid-table, but you're watching that week in, week out. After what we've been watching, this is what I'm saying about, like, yeah, of course I want my team to win and that, but it comes to a point where it's like, oh, is this all we've got? Mid-table obscurity and rubbish football. At least under Bielsa, it was exciting, exhilarating, and this is the point I was making. Be careful what you wish for, because if that is like that next season, I'll be like, yeah, nah. Check out.
What I'll argue, right, is that when you're at the game, it's completely different from watching it on TV, in a sense that when you watch it on TV, you are just watching the football, whereas when you're there, as bad as it might sound, I don't go to the football for the football. Does that sound bad?
No, you go there to have a piss up, jump around, singing
like
songs,
you're
that kind of thing.
It's like
I go for the football, bro.
Well,
it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both.
No, I'm older.
It's a bit of both. You don't just go clubbing for the music, do you? You go there for the whole experience.
I get what Lewis is saying. When I was younger, 100%, man.
That's what I mean. So I'm in a state where, I'm in a state where it's like it's the whole an away day, for example. Mate, you've got to think. First, God knows how many away days I had. We're in mid-table championship. It were a good piss up. It wouldn't have been for me. I won't Ribena. But you know, it were a good laugh. Like with your mates, with your family, or what? Allegedly, with your family and whatever. And it's just the experience of it. And you had a laugh. I actually, I put 3 tweets out back to back in this game. I put hoofball, long throw in. You are
only 3. You're having a bit of an off day there.
It was just these 3 back to back. But I put hoofball, long throw in, dirty Leeds, and I was like, this is prime Sky Bet Championship days, this, because it were just so bad that it was like if you
is there, it prime Dom Revy days according to a certain someone?
If you're there, it's funny.
What a load of rubbish, man.
It's different to when you watch it. When you watch it on TV, you're just watching the performance, and it's so frustrating. But when you're there, like, people I spoke to that were at Palace, I'd one at best away days. You know what I mean?
Of course,
it's different. So I don't know. When you're there week in, week out, as long as we are mid-table and above, or we are struggling at the bottom, and as long as we do get a few memorable results, and that's all I can really ask for at the moment. So we ain't above us pay grade right now. We ain't challenging for European football. That ain't happening. Do you know what I mean? So, maybe 2-3 seasons time, you might turn around and go, right, we've been here for 5 years now. If we're still there, come on, pull a finger out our ass type thing.
No, I think performances do need to increase though in the long term. I mean, I'm a bit of a football purist myself. I like the beautiful game. I love the sport that we all grew up loving to play, loving to watch. Yes, there's other things you can take beautiful about it, but you like to see good passing plays. You like to see good attacking football. You like to see intensity. You like to see flair. You like to see quality. Unfortunately, we haven't been seeing any of that apart from a few individual patches.
Just a performance would be good.
Yeah, but this whilst I do take that into account, that's what I'm saying. Next season, even if we are getting a few results, if the performances carry on like this, I think his days are numbered. I think his days are numbered if the performances carry on like this. But we don't. It's an unknown. That's my point. I do think because of the way he speaks, because of what I've seen from him previously, I think we will see a lot better football than this. I think once he gets a few of his own players in, and let's not forget, you're kind of, the way you're speaking is like, oh, the club's like, there's no optimism around the fan base that we could achieve anything more than mid-table mediocrity next season. That's the kind of thing Bielsa gave us. He gave us hope that we could get into Europe. But I still think that a lot of people are neglecting the fact that it wasn't just Bielsa that gave us that hope. The board spoke very well. We spoke about getting a 60,000-seater stadium. Everyone was behind Radrizzani. Everyone was behind Victor Orta. Everyone was behind the project that they seem to be building. We're getting new owners coming in. Okay, let's see if we can get a bit more investment. And I know we didn't get enough investment, but if we stay up, we're still going to get a 60,000-seater stadium in a couple of years. That will get us a lot more revenue. And then if we stay mid-table for a year, start to build it up a little bit slower. Unless if you have Newcastle money, these kind of things don't happen overnight. So
Give me some of that Newcastle money right now.
Oh, mate, I'd love it. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm always seeing these people like, oh, I wouldn't want to sell my soul for QSI money. Mate, I will sign that check right now. Give me some of that Benjamin Franklin. If you're talking about seeing Vinicius Jr., Erling Haaland lacing up, like I say, big difference from Kisnorbo and Lasoga. All right, I'll take it any day. I don't care what paperwork I got to sign.
Ledge though. Paddy Gisnorbo was a ledge.
He's a legend, but it's just that name, isn't it? I don't know. Something about the name Gisnorbo doesn't.
People's biggest fear of going the way Man City have gone isn't actually the success and the squad. It's the deterioration of the fan base, which is something we are.
Well, you've seen last night, haven't you? Benzema scored that Panenka, and then everyone's on cameras. Like, what are you doing? They're not City fans, though, either. You know, City, it's the empty ad. I know it's all thingy, but they'll have given a lot of them tickets away to people and tourists, and that's what happens. But
it's funny though, because my reaction to that, you know, when you just got everyone and I'm going, someone somewhere is going, hang on,
yeah.
film every game. I was like, but no. To be fair, if everyone around me was doing the same thing, I'd just be like, I'm not coming anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just like.
I don't know, but the thing is there such a demand for City tickets? Because a lot of the fans there aren't necessarily hardcore fans. Like, everyone around me is getting tickets.
They are.
I can get student discount and get tickets for City games.
You can get them off that app.
You
get like student deals or whatever.
Yeah, uni days. Uni days.
Yeah, for
like you can get them off there.
Mate,
it's easier for me to get City tickets than Leeds ones, and I pay for a membership.
Oh, somewhat sick in it. Oh my god! I don't know if you all know. You both know. Folks.
JT City channel coming next week.
JT City Live.
There's a gap in the market.
You both know Fogden, I assume, yeah.
Hey, Fogden, yeah, top guy, yeah.
So I watched his City vlog, and there were City fans in front of him stood up clapping Benzema after he made it 4-3.
Just like, it was a good goal, but you're right. I'd be
not in the Champions League semi-final. I think there's it depends what kind of thing. Like when Ronaldo scored that overhead kick against Juventus, and then they started applauding him. I think that was just like, oh, wow. Like, okay, I'm seeing Ronaldo do the business. This beggars belief. I'm gonna tell my grandkids about this goal I've seen. The Panenka one, I'm not so sure, especially because they were still in the lead.
Yeah, but that's the sort of thing there. Anthony Johnson there, look, his son got a 2-hour coach trip there and back to a ticket to last night's game for 38 quid. And I'm assuming, Anthony, just let us know in the chat, whereabouts do you actually live? I bet you're not even in Manchester, right? So you might have even got a coach outside of. This is what happens when you can't fill games. They'll give them to local schools. They'll give them to charities. Like you said, they'll put deals on uni days and all that sort of stuff. So then people who are in that corner are not diehard City. Do you know what I mean? You could tell that. There was only one person who was going, all the rest are like that.
There were a section like below the
Doncaster, man. Doncaster.
Yeah, but just because we get money, does that mean that's going to happen to us? Because it's already impossible. Unlike a lot of other clubs that may get money, it's already impossible to get tickets.
We're just protective of that, and I think that's the only worry of us going down that path. I don't think anyone's going to be complaining about us winning trophies or having a prime squad. It's just people are just protective of the atmosphere going to pot, which when you look at most clubs who have been injected with that money and success, the atmosphere. Look at Liverpool.
Hasn't.
Look at Liverpool.
PSG haven't.
I didn't even know
PSG is still
had an
raucous atmosphere. Their ultras are crazy. I mean, they're kind of actually against the ownership, which is something slightly different. But
Liverpool,
their atmosphere
in England, Liverpool, City, Scum, Chelsea, even maybe. If you look at how they used to be,
Scum's not too. They're not too bad.
Arsenal at the
Emirates, but that's just the Emirates is such a terrible stadium. Yeah, because the stadium's terrible. Like the Sonics.
West Ham at London Stadium compared to Upton Park.
Again, stadium's terrible. If you don't change, like the atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the new one, it gets rocking sometimes because of the way it's built.
I prefer box.
I do. I like the look. There's always going to be like, I don't want Elland Road to change. I'll always love it like this. And even I speak to Tottenham fans, they're like, it's just not the same. The old White Hart Lane was rocking every single week, even if you're playing a League One team. No, people don't.
People don't like change, but let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Back to that game and back to Jesse Marsh's system. I want to ask you about some individuals within that system. So Steve's mentioned we need more width. Rafinha and Harrison should stick to the wings. Without Rafinha and Harrison crossing the balls, we have no attack. And Harmony says Rafa plays on the wing under Bielsa. He's dynamic. Plays for Brazil out wide. Is dynamic. One of the front runners in that Brazilian side, and now Marsh is playing him very, very centrally. And you know, this is my question to you. Like, he's our best player. Facts. Right? He's our best player.
On his day.
Yeah.
No, just Germany.
Yeah. Well, it's just our best player, right?
He hasn't been as consistent as Calvin Phillips, but if you're talking about actual
he's our best player, right? Why are you not using him to the best of his capabilities? Because and it further proves to me, and those that called me whatever and called me this and that, he will leave in the summer because Leeds really have no use for a guy that's struggling to play centrally who's mint on the wing. That's the cold hard facts. Jack Harrison's all right. Jack Harrison can play centrally. Bielsa played him in a false nine, etc. That's why he's looking at bringing Brendan Anderson and all these players in. That's why we cash in on Rafinha. But it seems a bit of a shame or a little bit of a bit of an end to his Leeds career. For me, he'd be player of the season anyway. He'll get my vote when them votes come out. But it's like, for me, you've got a player there, we're trying to win games, and you're asking him to do a job he's not very good at.
We just don't play wingers.
Yeah, that's
the
what
first comment that we're on. We don't have wingers anymore.
Yeah,
they are essentially wingers, but they're not. It is more of a central role, and whether he could have played there or not, like you say, I think he were always leaving at the end of the season. So as of right now, it's a concern. But in what is it? I don't even know how many games left. 6 games time. 5 games time. It won't be a concern anymore because, as far as I'm concerned, he ain't going to be here, and Marsh will bring in players who can play in that role and can play to a system the same way that Bielsa brought in who he needed and then just fashioned what he already had to fit his system. But, could be a complete shock. He could be here next season, but I don't see it.
No. Do you think, though, that he maybe should be utilising Rafinha as a winger or asking him to play wide, Lou? Or
well, it's not his system, is it? It wouldn't really make sense to go, right, Harrison, you play essentially attacking mid, but it's a winger, but it's more central, that kind of position, and Rafinha, you just play wide. I don't even know if that'd. I don't know if that'd function really. I know that
no, you can't choose an individual over a system.
Yeah, I mean, I know that under Bielsa, again, we keep going back to Bielsa, but players would just kind of soar off into positions that weren't really set positions sometimes.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen that happen under Marsh so far, and I think it's just a very set formation. Again, you can talk about the formation itself. Does that even work? Like Dallas got bullied the other day.
Has Rafinha been that poor though? I know he wasn't great against Palace, but he was probably our best player against Watford. I think he scored a fantastic goal again. And since Marsh has come in, he played a vital role against Norwich. I don't think that he's as bad as people have been saying he is. And his performances weren't outstanding at the end of Bielsa's time.
I don't think.
No, in the system, I don't think the system.
I just think there is space there. Put him in that space. Do you know what I mean?
There is, but that's not his system.
Exactly.
Let's not have it's really weird where there's 10 bodies around him and you're expecting. He's not Rodrigo, and Rodrigo was rubbish the other night. But Rodrigo has that technical ability to bring it down, drop his shoulder, turn in a tight space, and lay it off. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Rafinha, for me, I don't know. He's a great dribbler and that, but I just don't know if he's.
It's just really weird to have a 4-2-2-2. Like 2 DMs, a cam, 2 strikers, and then a right wing. I don't know how that would, because all you're going to have then, especially if you're coming up against teams that are just man marking, Raf's going to be he's never going to have that space, because if you've got a player that far wide, whereas other side of pitch it's sort of central, he's going to be the easiest person to pick off. Does that make sense? And although I agree that he thrives much more where he was, like you said, James, like against Watford, he just pulls it out of the bag wherever, whenever. Like he could be having one of his worst performances and he'll still bag or assist. He's just that type of player. I don't know. I don't think it's a big call, especially given that we don't think he's going to be here next season. I don't think it's that much of a concern. It's just sort of getting to the line now, innit? Yeah,
for sure. JT, thoughts on KP? I spoke to you off there.
I like the rhyme there. Yeah.
Great to have him back in the side. I worry. Again, maybe I'm being overcritical. I almost feel like I'm spilling into get him out. I feel like Lee Gunner on Arteta. I'm like, get Marsh at my club. No, but I even thought KP. I don't know. I prefer him on his own kind of thing. I just feel
first start back though. First 90 minutes
I just
back.
feel it's so tight though that no one can really flourish. I feel it's just all like, let's just play the percentages, put it into dangerous areas and hope for knockdowns and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not about that, man. I want to see football. And I just feel
the hoofballs. Really...
Well, what's your argument? Your argument is he doesn't really work in a 2.
I don't know if that's maybe. I just don't think that we'll see the best of Calvin either. And I also
can I retort to that?
Yeah, go on.
England played in a 2 next to Declan Rice, player of the tournament.
True. But is it the same though? It's not, is it?
No, it's not the same because he doesn't have Declan Rice next to him. He had Robin Koch. Robin Koch missed a sideways conversion, missed the hospital pass.
You know what I mean? Like there's heat-seeking balls that can be made out wide by Calvin. That can be banged out to the wing. Whereas in this tight central area, what we're doing with it really. You see what I'm saying though? When Calvin gets
but it's still his ball, his ability to win the ball back in vital times was still superb.
No, I get what everything went through Calvin. I get what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? No.
Before or now?
No, before. Like when you're playing out from the back, eventually it's going to find its way to Calvin. He's going to play one of those pings like forward or to wing. It's not all going through him anymore. I get that, but defensively, I think we're more assured.
Slightly, yes. So down the middle, yes. Down the wing, I think was a bit harder.
But the thing that annoys me is you talk about it being tight in the middle, and you're more assured defensively. You've got 2 DMs, etc., etc. Why then can we not play 2-3 yard passes?
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I don't get it. And what, as much as you might argue the system, Bielsa, Marsh, different things, different formations, blah, 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 you don't forget how to pass the ball. You don't forget not to lose.
No, but they look confused.
Not lose your head.
confused before. Like you said, they were moving into so many different positions, and because of the way they've been drilled, it was instinctive. They knew, okay, someone's here. I'm going to move in this motion. I'm going to move in that motion. All of a sudden, Marsh is saying, no, you're not moving in that motion. You're staying a little bit more rigid. All of a sudden, they're looking around. They're expecting someone to be making a run. They're not making that run, and then they stop. They split. They stop for a split second. And the amount of times, the reason we were losing the ball is because we would slow down on the ball. We'd get Jack Harrison in a good position, and then he'd slow down looking around for options, and then someone would come behind him, nick the ball off him. As for Calvin Phillips, he was one of the ones that seemed like he was adapting to it decently. And I think, again, without him, they would have caused us way more problems.
Here's an argument for you, right? And maybe I am being far too negative, but you could put me in that system, and at times I would be able to do a clearance or make a challenge because it's that congested that it's just hard to. Yeah,
there's a big difference between making a clearance and being in the right place at the right time every single time. I mean, compare him to the players around him. Robin Koch, I mean, he made a couple of good interceptions, but the amount of times
Let's talk about Robin Koch.
He's not a CDM. He's not a CDM.
So what is he now? What is he?
Where is he? He's a centre back.
He's a centre half, but in the he doesn't have he doesn't have enough of a radar on him. The top players like Calvin Phillips, the Christian Eriksen's, they know what's going on around them the whole time. Cesc Fabregas-esque. The second he gets the ball, he knows what he's going to do with it 2 steps before he gets hit. Robin Koch's looking around every time, not knowing what to do, and he's making these sideways passes and giving it straight to them.
So talk to me about Robin. Where does his Leeds career go?
I don't know. If he's not going to be put in at centre half, then he's probably going to be gone.
It is.
Unfortunately. I like Koch, but...
Isn't it, Lewis? Because Llorente is favoured to him. In my opinion,
I think we could
Llorente scares the shit out of me. I can't lie.
I think we could see a few departures.
Yeah.
I think we could see a real shake-up, to be fair, because, you know, if Marsh is coming out now, obviously he didn't name any names because you can't, really, but if he's coming out now and saying the majority, I don't know if he said the majority or he said a few players are still struggling to adapt to not man marking. It's one of those things where is he going to think you ain't ever going to be able to, or I could get so-and-so in who's going to be easier to, you know, to work on and adapt to it. It's going to be quicker. It's going to be easier. He's going to be looking at these things and, you know, come 5 games time, should we hopefully stay up, which, you know, I think we will, but this run we've got coming up, it is scary. You've got the other games around us, which we can talk about. Also got Burnley and Everton to discuss. But I think, you know, would he be thinking like that? Would he be thinking, let's say, Click, for example, you know, let's talk about that. What went off between him and Click? Was it out? Was it not? You know, it seemed to be, and this, you know, it's kind of putting words in people's mouths and stuff. But from watching it, it seemed to be Click's basically saying, yeah, Click's basically got an issue with something to do where he's playing or something to do with how the game's going or whatever.
Sure, let me just, Lewis, like, this is just codswallop, because to be fair to Lewis, I will say, if anyone you could aim that at, it can be me. I hear you. Not Lewis. Watch last week's or the other week's episode. He was the total opposite, so I won't have that. But that's not... I've never been about that. Believe me, there are people out there in the content creation world who are like that. They know who they are. Not me, yeah? It is what it is, right? I want us to stay in the division. I want us at 100%. I'm not about this whataboutery, or I told you this, I told you that. Do you know what I mean? I don't like the football that I'm being shown at the moment. I've been spoiled as a fan, and I'm accepting it. And like Lewis was bang on the money, we're accepting of the defeats under Bielsa because of the performances. At the minute, we're accepting of the performances because we need points. If you think after 10 games and the games are the same next season, I will be sat here saying I'm not on board with it, and you know, if it continues, I want to change. I'll be straight with you. And I said it already. I'm not even lying here. I've been speaking to people off air saying, I don't like it. I'm not on board with it. But I understand, just come in the door, not his team, hasn't had time, get me safe. if next season, this week in, week out, then, Sean, I will be saying, on your bike, mate, give me someone else. That's just facts. I'll be straight with you. But I don't want us to go down. No, not a chance. There you go. Sorry, Lou.
I don't have a clue what I was saying.
You were talking about Klitsch.
Yeah, so
it annoys someone.
It looked as though Click had an issue with what he's being asked to do, or where he's playing, or something, and Marsh is basically saying, "Get on with it." That's what it looked like. That could be completely wrong. Nobody take that, as a quote or whatever, because it was a very small sort of like background thing, and you just seeing them have a little sort of spat. It may not have even been a spat. It may have just been like a rush thing, but it didn't look good, did it?
Do you think that's why you changed him?
Well, yeah, that didn't help, did it? The fact they
because there was no reason for the change, really.
No. What didn't help was the fact that Click walked off mid Marsh talking to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
shaking his head, and Marsh is still shouting at him as he's walking off.
Yeah.
And that says to me that Click don't want to know.
Yeah,
It essentially looked like you don't know what you're on about. Like it's not working. And Marsh is like trying to drill this into him, and he's walking off. Now again, that could be completely wrong, but when you're looking at stuff and trying to determine what's gone on, for anyone who's not seen it, jump on Twitter and search Click or Click and Marsh or whatever, and you better watch it. But it was not a good look, and the fact that he then got subbed off 10 minutes later, you're thinking to yourself, what's going on there? You don't want stuff like that. So I was using Click as an example of in the summer when we've stayed up. Marsh is Marsh is going to be looking at the squad and thinking, right, so and so, let's say Click, for example, just because we've been talking about him. I could get so and so in instead of him, who's going to be easy to work with. They're going to adapt quicker, they're going to perform better, and he'll make that decision and then offload Click. He's got no use for him. In the same way that Rafinha is the best player we've got in the squad, of course, but he could look at that and think, right, we can get 60, 70, 80 odd £1 million for this player. And then I can bring 2 or 3 players in, one of which is going to play better in this position that I want them to. They're going to adapt quicker, they're going to work better. Again, easy to work with. That's not to say that Click and Rafinha aren't good players and don't have the ability, but in this system and going forward, is Marsh going to look at the squad and think he can go so he can come in because it's going to be easy for me to do the job with? And that's kind of what Bielsa did, in the sense that, you remember when Bielsa came in, he was very, very snappy in terms of getting rid of players. Straight away, just sliced the squad down, right? You're not good enough, go. You're not good enough, go. You're not good enough, go. I'm not going to be able to adapt to you, blah, 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 blah. And now it's a new era where I think Marsh has got to do a bit of that, and whether we have to let go of players that we are really attached to and we did think had got a big future here, and we didn't foresee anything changing. Now it's kind of a transition period where you've got to take a step back and say what is actually best in this system. But that bust up or spat or whatever you want to call it, bust up, mate.
Bloody hell, mate! It was crazy.
It wasn't a problem up until Click walked off. That's what I was just saying. He walks off as Marsh is still talking to him, shaking his head, and Marsh is still like.
Well, there was a game going on. He's not just going to sit on the touchline and have a spot of tea with him. You know what I mean?
No, but they were having a conversation, and Click just walked off.
Yeah, I think as well, like you say, we're not used to seeing this, are we? We're not used to seeing this because it doesn't really happen. There's people in the chat trying to tell me it happened under Bielsa. It didn't. Pablo did it once. Pablo did it once.
Well, no, actually, Klitsch did apparently have some problems with Bielsa at the end. He did. But if I was to put this down to what I think it could be, if anything, is he's been played in an unnatural position to him. He's been thrusted into CDM to fill a hole because we don't have anyone else there, into a 2. When Bielsa brought him in, he was the regista man. He was the guy that stays forward and basically does all of the attacking, and he's not asked to do a hell of a lot of defensive role. He's been thrust into CDM here. I think that's where the problem starts. And I was talking to someone, they were saying he's a cancer and he was having problems with Bielsa. I don't know how big the problems were, but if I was to swing it there, Why would anyone want?
It's true though, isn't it?
If I was to string it there, then yeah, that would be the reason. But believe me, you say why would anyone want their team to go down? I have heard and seen people that would in the past with other clubs, and you can sense it in the water. But I don't know. Are the players revolting? Are they all coming out against it? Did they have so much loyalty to Bielsa that we're going to see these bust ups or bust ups more?
What I will say, this as well, Anthony Tomo, as far as I'm aware, not being ITK, but something did happen, and that's why you seen Rafinha.
Well, yeah, I know he was looking for Raf, and he got Ralph. That was the big problem. got the wrong guy. He's like, who's this clamping on the pitch, man? He can't do the step overs.
But no, that's why he was dropped for the first half against Man United. By all accounts, anyway. I'm not ITK, but something happened. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe BS, but yeah. Right. Let's move it on slightly to the relegation fight. I've just had a text. I don't know if my friend's watching or whatever, but the lad that I go with, Sean's text me at 6:50. Just about 11 minutes ago. He says, as the days go by, 12. And the more I think about it, I'm getting increasingly worried about our chances for survival. Big shout out, Sean, if you are watching. Thoughts? Who wants to go first? Are we getting worried?
Got a little story.
Shut up, James. I'm going. I'll go. Go on.
All right. So first of all, had you asked me this yesterday, big time. Like I was saying more than anyone, you guys, I mean, Lewis especially, this is going to be the lowest points needed for survival you've ever seen. It's looking like it might be the highest, yeah? Michael Jackson's come back to Burnley and he's moonwalking them up the table, yeah? Things are looking scary, all right? So you asked me yesterday after the performance, I'm scared, I'm scared. There's a dark cloud covering my emotions of the day. But then today, something happened. Bit of a profound experience. So I'm walking to the store, as you do. Didn't put my headphones in for once, listening to the ambience, the clouds, the wind, the cars driving past, the hustle and the bustle of the people.
Get on with it.
Then I get to a traffic light. I'm crossing the road. Yeah, I press the button, and I'm waiting for that green man to flash up so I can walk. All of a sudden, something happens. I'm taken in a daze. I can no longer hear the cars screeching past. The hustle and the bustle comes to an instant stop. Nice. And I'm suddenly overwhelmed by the sound of cheers and roaring and an outcry of ecstasy and relief. And all of a sudden, I look to the sky to see what's happening. And what do I see? I see pertinent visions of Rodrigo knee sliding into the fans, shushing the camera as he does it. And the fans going absolutely berserk as Leeds get a vital 3 points against Manchester City. I can see him going over, hoisting Marsh on his shoulders, carrying him around.
Right there,
yeah. I can see it. I can see the visions, and these visions never lie. These are the same visions that told me England were going to get to the Euro 2020 final. These visions.
Yeah, but we lost.
And I'm telling you, I told you, there's a good feeling about this. And then other things are coming out. You've got Bernardo Silva talking about, we can't let this title slip. What happened last time? Someone said they couldn't let something slip. They came out against a counter-attacking side, and they managed. And then that certain someone slipped on his ass and allowed Demba Ba to come through and score the winner and give the title over to City. Well, this time, it's going to be the role reversal. He's going to slip on his ass, is Bernardo Silva. Rodrigo's going to get in there, and then we're going to give the title to Liverpool. Everything's adding up. The stars are aligning. I'm telling you.
Mate,
the positivity is back.
Right there with you, man. Like, it was such a beautiful and calming description up until I heard Man City. Then I was like, you've ruined it. You've ruined it, man.
For me, it was just Manchester. I was walking in Manchester. I was like,
if you'd have said Arsenal or Chelsea, I might have.
No. It's the City game that we're going to win, though. It's the ones you least expect. I'm telling you. Forget the Arsenal and Chelsea. Those are tougher. The City game.
Can I raise an annoying point?
Go on.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Us, Burnley and Everton will not have played the same amount of games at the same time.
No.
Until the last game of the season.
It can't go to Brentford. It can't go to Brentford, right? Because we'll go down.
Well,
it won't go to Brentford.
It can't, because we'll go down. They will beat us, trust me.
Let
me read off. Will score.
Let me read off the match weeks, right? Go
on.
So we've obviously got City at home, Burnley got Watford at home, and Everton got Chelsea at home. That's this week. That's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I think.
Yeah. That's right. No, just Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. So on paper, right, all this, hope that we might beat them or get a draw, whatever. On paper, realistically, off the bat, we're just going to say we lose.
Yeah.
Everton
lose.
I think Everton will lose or draw.
Yeah. Well,
I think
put it this way, Luke. Burnley play Watford at 3:00. So by the time we play City at 5:30, we could be in 17th.
So is Everton 3 as well?
No, Everton play Sunday at 2:00.
Everton play Sunday, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I mean. That's such a because if Burnley win, and then we've got to play knowing they've won, and if we lose, then we've got to watch Everton the following day.
Yeah.
At which point we could be up shit creek. Do you know what I mean?
You can watch them all on the Just Joe football show via watch-alongs, just to let you know.
Or you can just watch them on Sky Sports or BT.
Or you can come to the dark side over here. Good dark side over here. Come.
Joe doesn't need any more views, man. He's big time now.
Shut up.
So really, so let's just say Burnley win and Everton draw to play devil's advocate. I have a feeling they're going to get something against Chelsea. Don't know why. Chelsea secure top 4 as well. Wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea let them win. So I know it's not going to happen, but like it really, it'd be one of those things that I'd be like, to save the boy. Following week, we got Arsenal away. Burnley don't play. No, Burnley do play. So they play Villa at home, and then Everton got Leicester. That's a tight week. That.
Yeah.
I think we've
do you know what it is? If we lose, Luke, as long as the other lose, it don't fucking matter, does it?
That's what I'm saying. When you're looking at it week by week, it does worry you a bit because it's like you look at this week, Burnley are going to get points, I think.
No, Everton, I think they get beat away from home. This is the one. They've had a couple of home fixtures. They got beat by Norwich. People forget about this.
You're changing your tune a bit, Lewis. You were telling me a couple of weeks ago that Burnley weren't going to win squat.
No, I'm on about the next 3 weeks. Because, we got City, Arsenal, Chelsea, whereas Burnley got Watford and Villa, and Everton got Chelsea, Leicester, Watford. Leicester and Watford and Villa are four games where you think, right, they're going to pick up points up. Whereas our 3 fixtures, you're looking at thinking, if we lost all 3, would you be surprised? No.
That's why it's important. We have to win one of them, I think, to stay up.
You look at it, Paco. He did say it. I dispute it, but he did say it. Fair play, Paco. And I will give you props, mate, on the 11th if it happens. There's actually listen to this for dedication, yeah. Listen to this for dedication. Just while I'm on Paco, Mac. There's someone who follows me. I forget his name now off the back of my head. I think it's Shirihurst. It's either Shirihurst or another one of the negative ones. I have banter with them, but I said to him, right. He made a comment, and I said, "Listen, clip it up. You're wrong. We will not be whatever, right?" And then I looked at my comments, and he's actually put the minute in the comments, like 54:09. I thought, oh, he's actually clipped it. He's coming back to it. I was like, fair play, man.
You should have deleted it.
Yeah, true. I'll go back. I'll go back.
You'd have got more watch time then, because it'd have had to scroll through the whole screen.
Yeah, brilliant. Holy Ghost, quick super chat. Says, please keep throbbing cock out of mid. It's better when he plays from the back.
Out of me or mid?
Hey?
What? I don't know. Your voice glitched a bit there. It sounded a bit funny.
What did you say?
Just don't repeat it.
I don't know. I didn't say anything.
Let him watch it back.
What did he say?
That's a bit mad. That's all I'm saying, Joe. I can't believe what you've done there.
No,
that's getting clipped up for sure. Actually, let's see the minute here. If anyone wants to
I'm not repeating it because then it'll be clipped up.
What will?
I don't know. Just
don't.
Your wife will have an interesting.
I know what he's saying, but he's basically saying.
I know. Listen,
keep robbing cock out of midfield. It's better when he plays from the back. I know he's trying to make an innuendo.
No.
Oh yeah, no, it's nothing to do with what he said. It's to do with what you said.
Don't say it out loud, Joe, for your own good. But just read it in your head again. But replace mid with me.
Yeah, but I didn't say me, though.
Yeah,
No, that's what you think. That's what you think.
I
Yeah.
didn't say me.
Right.
No,
It's
no,
very
no.
easy to slip up and make mistakes now, unless if my ears are broken.
It's easy to slip out as well.
And if you don't keep it out of it, there might be something else broken as well. But I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point. Someone else raised this point earlier. And like I said, I like throbbing cock as much as the next guy, but not pause.
Pause.
He can't do it in the midfield. He's not flexible enough. You know, he's too rigid for the midfield, if you know what I mean. You need to get him off the Viagra, maybe loosen him up a little bit.
Yeah, I think, why don't we cash in on that? I don't know.
Cash in on cock.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we don't really run OnlyFans around here. You know, I mean, maybe you want. I don't know.
But we do have Creswell, we do have
just
Stroud,
wait to see
we
what we're gonna
have
be.
so many centre backs. Yeah, Holy Ghost.
Is there
knows,
room
man.
for cock?
Your mind's out.
Can we stop? Can we stop? Can we stop?
There needs to be an end of the. There needs to be an end of season compilation of the midweek fixing innuendos. I think it gets last a long 5 minutes,
and it will just all be JT. It would just
no, it
all
won't.
be JT.
It won't. Don't get Mr. Bath Boy out of here. All right.
Come on, come on.
Right, I'm not the only one here.
Come on, Jizzy.
And I'm not the one talking about jizz. I may be talking about cock, but you guys are bringing jizz into it.
True.
It's just your name, mate.
It's not my name. All right.
So,
and people actually take that. My flipping parents, I went out for dinner and they're like, no, it's my uncle actually. He's calling me because he watches the show. Yeah. Shout out to Uncle. Yeah, my guy. He started calling me, he called me Jizz. I'm like, what's going on here, fella? What have you started?
Called you Jizz.
Big up unks.
Well, no,
Big
he didn't call me. Yeah.
Yeah, just shut up. Just shut up.
He did.
Move
What
on.
he did?
Move
What you
on.
think I'd make it up? He
No,
came talking about
agree,
Kim Kardashian and then Jizz.
It's not the best sentence.
No, it's
Anyway,
not.
welcome to the Leeds United midweek fix, everyone.
Yes.
Hey, if this is your first time, welcome along.
Yeah,
it's a great time
here. Right. So, City, give us a score prediction. Do we get anything?
Did you not hear the visions? Did you glitch? Did you lag out of the call?
The thing is, though, this is what I said, right? And I'll be straight here. I believe. The reason I believe, okay, and it might be blind faith or whatever, I do think we'll be beat, but I have a little bit of belief because, and I'll explain myself, right? Under Bielsa, I always believe because you never know what was going to happen. I have belief in this game because it's the first time Jesse Marsh, as Leeds United manager, is going to come up a top 6 side. So it's an unknown entity for me. I don't know what to expect. So maybe we might park the bus and I'll be happy with it. You know what I mean? Like we win 1-0 on the counter. I don't know. But then obviously, depending on how we perform in this, I'll then have different opinions on playing top sides in the future, i.e. Arsenal, i.e. Chelsea. But this City one, again, it's unknown entity. Of course, City, best team in the world, them or Liverpool. We just don't know how he's going to approach it. So I have a little bit of belief. I do think we'll get beat, but, you know, I have a little bit of belief. Thoughts, Lewis? Well, do we get anything, bro? Or is it just a case of let's hope everyone else loses and then we'll be all right? Is that what we're thinking?
I really do want to say that we could get a draw.
Then say it. Speak it into existence. You know it's going to happen as well as I do. You're just clouding yourself.
We do lose.
We do lose, but we don't lose now.
No, we lose, man.
No, not one. We don't lose against City.
I don't honestly.
4-0, 5-0.
I don't think
4 points out of 9 for each team.
I don't think
the last 3 times.
I think it'll be like 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, no, we're not going to thump them. Yeah, like I said, it'll be a tight one. Nick a couple of goals.
So Lou's going 2-0. Lou's going 2-0 City, which I think as long as everyone else loses, we'll be like, okay, fair enough. JT, thoughts?
I was going to go 1-0. But that 2-0 again, the second you said that, the vision started tingling again. They started tingling. The 2 goals, I can feel the 2 goals actually now that you said that. It's really coming strong to me.
Both disallowed.
Don't be putting that in there. You know, let's not cloud the visions here. But yeah, I think Rodrigo will score. I think Ayling will get another one. I think Ayling will dink the keeper. I think we're looking at 2-0.
Yeah.
You're going 2-0.
2-0 Leeds. Yeah.
Fair play, JT. Fair play. I just don't know.
Come on, Joe.
Mate, I think us keeping Man City to a clean sheet is more unlikely than us beating them, to be perfectly honest. Fucking hell.
Stranger things have happened. Like I said, would you think Michael Jackson would have resurrected from the dead, giving them Thriller left, right, and center? Yeah, moonwalking them up the table. Like I said, did you think that would have happened a couple of weeks ago? No. Anything can happen.
And Graham makes a point. Did you see last night? I think that benefits us because he may rotate. He might not. The lads we were speaking off air said, no, not a chance. He wants the league. But he's going to have that Real Madrid tie in the back of his mind.
He will rotate, but their squad's deeper than an Olympic diving pool, so it doesn't really matter if he rotates.
If they're rotating, who are they playing?
Raheem Sterling, like I said, and that scares me because Sterling he always causes us danger. Whenever he played against us, even under Bielsa, Sterling is one of those players. Again, we've seen the problems we've had with players out wide that can dribble very well. If you were saying, was it Elise was starting, then we would have been in big trouble. What the hell is Sterling going to do to us? Yeah, he's like Elise on steroids.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Not actually on steroids.
Big shout out, Holy Ghost. Another super chat just said, on the real, you guys are dope. Keep up the hustle. Thank you so much for your super chat. Just want to quickly address this. MC said, get your head out of the sand about Bielsa. I'd rather be comfortably mid-table for a few seasons if the plan was eventually to get a world-class manager. We just got rid of one. Anyway. Apparently Sporting Central said, has no one seen what Pep said? Apparently he's coming to smash us. And if he comes to smash us, then we probably will get smashed. We will have to wait and see. Folks, article today, Calvin Phillips, Man United. It's really a little bit of a non-news story. I think a lot of Man United fans have picked it up and a lot of content creators are running with it. I think Goldbridge spoke on it. The Terrace has spoken on it. Of course they are. Apparently Man United are looking to sound out Calvin Phillips as representatives. There's been no contact with the player, no contact with the club. It's just that Man United think, okay, we'd like him. Are you at all worried about him going across the Pennines one bit? Anyone?
I'd like to date Megan Fox. It's not going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mate,
Machine Gun Kelly managed to get there, so you never know.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
If being Leeds through and through isn't enough, right? Because Smith was. Different circumstances completely, of course. But if that isn't enough, his family wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah.
His family would not let him do it. I'm not going to go into it, but people will get where I'm going with it in terms of he'll think about things and what his family would have wanted or want for him.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is it means things mean more to him than money, right?
Yeah.
So personally, it wouldn't even entertain the idea. Leaving Leeds, however, look, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I really wouldn't. It's
not this summer though, right?
Not this summer.
If we stay up, he won't.
No, I don't think he will. But eventually, you're good enough to go above and beyond. You know what I mean?
But how are you saying we could go above
right
and
now?
beyond?
Right now, we are.
Couple of years, though.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I said.
What I mean. You never know. But, say he was to leave right now, I wouldn't have a problem with it. That's what I'm saying. If he went somewhere where I thought, right, you go in there.
If he went to another English club, though, that's the only funny thing. But
even then, if he's going there to fulfill his potential and he can't do it here, then fair play, man.
He deserves to be playing Champions League, doesn't he, bro? He deserves to be playing Champions League.
Just not. Well, he won't be playing it there anyway. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
This is why, someone said, he'll go West Ham. He'll never go West Ham. Never go West Ham. It's a sideward step. Yeah. I know they're in Europe and that, but come on, he'd never go there, man. KP will go to a team that's playing in the Champions League. It's just not his time.
Liverpool.
Liverpool potentially. The thing is,
that's where he would go. If he's going to be
DMs are not. Yeah, DMs in the Premier League are aging, innit? There's a lot of
Liverpool,
them, City as well.
No, look, ironic. Well, the side he slips into best is Man United because that is the one role they need is that DM role, which is why you keep hearing it. But he's not a snowball's chance in hell. If he goes to Man U, I will shave my eyebrow. Yeah, that's how confident. Not going to happen.
A guy actually messaged me earlier, Rob. Rob sometimes comments on the channel and gets involved, and actually WhatsApped me and said if he went there, he'd get a Man United title on his ass. So he never go there. I think all Leeds fans, but like you say, it's going to be picked up by Man United fans because they need that player, and Calvin is a great player, but he not go there, man. He not go there. I'm not going to, because it's easy to throw Alan Smith. It's easy to throw Alan Smith, but Alan Smith wouldn't have gone there if
let me tell you something.
Relegated.
There's what do you call him? There's a good quote.
Broke his leg anyway.
You never know how good someone is. You never know how good of a wife someone is. You never know how good of a friend someone is. You never know how good of a brother, a sister. You never know how good they are until they're truly tested. And Calvin Phillips was tested. He was tested when we didn't get promoted from the Championship, and he could have gone to Villa. He could have got all that money, and he said, "No, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay at Leeds." So he proved his worth there. Smith promised someone he wouldn't go to,
What was the big reason why he stayed?
What? Because of his, I know, Granny Val, which makes you rest in peace, which is another thing. But he also, his heart was still at Leeds, and he had to make the decision.
But what I'm saying about his personal life will have a massive, in his own feelings. It will like that. Aside,
but just because she's not with us anymore, alive in that, which is very sad, doesn't mean she's not with us. You know,
that's what I'm saying. So. He'd think this. I wasn't trying to go into detail about it just out of respect, but stuff like that would, if he was presented with the opportunity to go there, stuff like that would cross his mind. So Joe's just have to out.
He's just dipped off. He's just left us here.
He's just put in the private chat, the private VIP chat that is.
Oh mate, it's all kicking off in the private chat. If you could see what's going on here.
If you want to get in the private, just send us a tenner.
Send me the tenner. I'll send it over to Lewis after. He's making enough money over there, all right?
But
all right. I will flip it then. Okay, we keep Calvin. We probably lose Rafinha. Who do you think, if we stay up, or if it's a big contingent on if we stay up, who would you sign? What position do you think
Aronson's
we need the
pretty
most?
much done in it.
Who?
Brendan Aronson's pretty much done in it.
Yeah. Okay. So what for attacking midfield role?
Yeah. So you got to take. Yeah. So you got to take that out of the equation. I think we do need a DM.
We do, because Forshaw, I mean, he's like Jack Wheelchair, isn't he? He's out all the time.
It's not even that. Like, no disrespect to Forshaw, but the whole reason that people hyped him up so much is because we just missed anyone who could actually do that job at all for a long time. So because he come back and did that, it was just a case of, he's brilliant. Because if you get someone in who actually consistently does that job and who's better at it, then you'd be like, why were we hyping Forshaw up so much? That's
Calvin Phillips
to him.
But he did have a good partnership with Phillips.
Yeah, but to come back and do what he's done, don't get me wrong. There were people saying he'd never kick a ball again. So full respect to him. But if we actually went out and looked for someone in that role, you'd find that it actually isn't all that people were trying to make out it was, if that makes sense. So I do think we need a DM.
DM or left back? You can choose one. Left back or DM. Which one?
I can only choose
one of the two. Yeah, you can only choose one. Left back or DM.
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 I feel like if Phillips goes out injured, we're bollocks.
Yeah. Well, we saw it this year.
Whereas if Dallas is out or Firpo's out, you can kind of fill in. If you could only choose one, but I think we need both, to be honest. I do think we need a fullback and a DM.
Oh no, big time.
Striker.
Do we trust Bamford to come back? Yeah, we do need a striker.
Even then, that's what I'm saying. Even if you've got Bamford and Rodrigo fit, if one of them goes out injured, you're going to argue Joffe. Fair enough, but you need someone who's 25.
It's funny. What's going to happen with Rodrigo though? Because Rodrigo doesn't really play up front. He plays in that kind of pockety just behind.
I think he'll stay.
But what I'm saying is, if we get Aronson's going to be the one playing in that pocket, is he not?
Yeah.
Or is he going to play out wide where Rafinha's
I thought
playing?
Aaronson would play sort of
In Rafinha's role.
mid-wing. That yeah. So you've got that covered. DM, fullback, a keeper maybe.
How much do you think they'll spend, lads?
I don't know.
Well,
we need 100 million at least.
If you're selling Raf, if we don't at least spend what we get for him, then there's something wrong.
We need to spend.
Did you see Simon Jordan speaking about like they can't be just spending 50 million? They need to be spending a lot of money. Like they're a big, top 8 side.
Like
he said, and
it's true.
Yeah,
if Villa can spend all this money, why can't we? What are these 49ers playing?
Their owners are rich, and
I know, but the 49ers on broke, and I
hope they do open the purse strings a little bit. But I've got an idea. I've got a feeling they won't. Do you know what I mean? But I would like them to.
But how much? Well, this is another thing. How much are they saving for that stadium re-expansion that we were talking about? Probably going to be quite a few pieces.
Book the stadiums.
No, but it's going to happen.
No, I agree with you, bro. I agree.
It's the long-term plan. I know, but they have to think about these things.
All that money went to the front of the past of the East Stand. And you've got people stood outside. I remember it 2012.
There's a big difference between that and upgrading yourself to a 60,000 capacity.
Not really.
Yeah, if you want to get into Europe, you need more money coming in the long term. And yeah, it will screw us over in the short term, but their plan is to
spend. How much do you reckon they're going to spend on it?
20,
30.
It's not all that though. No, I agree
30
with
million,
Louis.
More like 300 million.
I agree with Louis.
You're not going to back at ticket sales, are you?
Arsenal fans,
over 10 years, you will.
Arsenal fans accepted top 4 year on year and sort of not winning anything because they were told once the stadium and everything sorted under Wenger, they'd be challenging at the top. Never happened.
No.
Have Spurs been in the Champions League since?
Okay, the difference is that Arsenal were at the top when that happened. Leeds are nowhere near the top. That's what I'm saying, though.
But and I don't know. Anyway, that's for another day. We will do a transfer show.
I will. The Spurs did make the Champions League final, but.
After when there was that White Hart Lane,
really thanks to that money because they made the Champions League final without making a signing in 2 years, which criminally underserved Pochettino.
Bottom line, fuck the stadium, focus on the squad, get us Europe, and let's have some bloody good times. You know what I mean? I don't care if we've got 30,000 in that stadium or 60,000. I want to win stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I know the people who can't go week in, week out will just come back and be like, but I want to go, like, fans first, blah, 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 blah. Like, nah, man, you should have been there.
But I don't think that's it. I think it's for the long run of actually getting Europe year in, year out. You need to have, you may be able to dip your toes into it with the 40,000, but with the 60,000, it's going to increase the stability of the club. It's going to increase the stature of the club. It's going to bring more players in.
What happens if we get a 60,000 seat stadium and go down?
Well, that's the thing. We won't go down with the 60,000. No, as in, no, we won't go down. No, we won't go down. Sorry. We'll get riots on the pitch. No, we won't get a 60,000 if we go down. It's going to take a couple years to do.
No, but I'm saying, right, say we're in the Prem next season, right? And then we get this stadium. And we've put all this money into improving the stadium. And we ain't focused on the squad. We've just brought 1 or 2 players in every transfer.
Well, you've got to do both. You've got to do both. But that's a tough thing.
Evidently, we can't. Because evidently, if they'd only be focused on. So, say we get this stadium and go down, then all you've got is players leaving and a 60,000 seat stadium that's only got 25,000 people in it because they're 13th champions.
Not necessarily.
I think it would.
Could still sell out.
No, it wouldn't.
It depends. If we start playing well again. Yeah, well, when Bielsa came in.
I'm not saying MK.
Yeah, because of the football, brother.
Yeah, I know.
That's gone now. Them days are gone. Get used to hoofball, baby.
I'll never get used to it. You never replace that man.
We could have gone on all night, but I do need to end it. I had to jump off because my partner was stuck outside the gate was locked and everything. She was beeping her on. I was like, I better go out. She was actually sat in the car watching us. And then I got down there, I went, love, I've not finished. I know, I've just watched Lewis hosting it. So I was like,
I was well confused. I was like,
I did stay for a little sec. I watched and Lewis went, you both went like that, and then Lou went, So Joe's had to pop out. I was like, oh, the pressure.
Well, it was just disappearing more than Adam Forshaw this season. But
but make sure you
kept it going.
make sure you did. I'm proud of you. Well done. We'll say make sure you follow JT and Lewis's channels, both of them in the description. How far are you away from 1K now, JT?
We are moonwalking towards 1K is what we're doing. Michael Jackson-esque.
Go on, let's have a look.
We are, let's have a drum roll, please. Oh, we've got 4 subs this entire stream. Yeah, we've got
that's good.
855 to 859. So however you 4 sexually charismatic and
you're going to lose them with them sort of words. You're going to lose them.
Living what? Well, I'm saying they're good-looking people. Of course they are. Anyone that subscribes to this channel.
Something. I was like,
transmitting
12 since last week.
Okay, it's progress.
Say, mate, we're moonwalking up there. We're moonwalking up there. We're chugging along. Yeah.
But make sure you go on over.
There's 250. Even 1 sub a year is good enough.
251 people here. If you haven't already, just pop over. Look, Steel S has subbed.
Too kind.
Look, you don't even have to watch his videos, man. Just subscribe. Just subscribe to him.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes with his sub box, whenever you see his mug, you're like, I just did it for the cause. You know what I mean?
For the cause, mate.
And then when he starts popping off, you can say that you're an OG. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Support the fam, exactly. And I will be back in probably about 10-15 minutes because I'm doing the Liverpool versus Villarreal watch along as well. So yeah, join me for that if you like. We did great numbers yesterday on the Real Madrid City one, obviously because of the game. Yeah. Hopefully it's more of the same. But yeah, keep it locked. I'm going to get off, have a cup of tea, get sorted and come back. And yeah, there you go. Love the content. JT.
Oh, mate, I just got 5 subs in a minute. You guys are OP. Mate, legends. Yeah,
legends.
I would say go check out Lewis as well, but it's probably not.
He's leading the way, isn't he? He's leading the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone who's subbed to you is probably already subbed to me anyway.
Oh,
yeah. You can take the probably out. You can take the probably out of that one.
See that? Come on, lad. Lewis is the one we're all chasing down.
Oh man, chasing tail.
He's a good guy. We will be back probably at the same time next week as well, because there'll be some champion. There will be the second leg of Real Madrid versus City on the evening of that game. So if the lads are free, we'll be doing it next week at 6 o'clock as well. So thank you, and we will see you next week. Thanks, lads.